Well, hello. This is the Ridiculousness. My name is Martin Day. This is now episode 13, which is good. This is getting into significant numbers now. I have another friend with me. His name is Andy, and it looks like, oh my god, he's being sick right now. That's a terrible intro.
I want to say good afternoon, but I could say good evening, good morning, whatever time of day it is.
Whatever
Hello.
time of day it is. You know, wherever you are out there, good to you.
Good beer unto you.
Yeah, I hope this time is good and pleasant for you, wherever you are, and you're not full of panic or fear. Well, that'd be terrible.
It could be quite exciting, though. Imagine a situation where
It
it's
could
sort of
be.
working for you.
Well, you know, I mean, people listen to this on the way to work, you know, and, like, work can be stressful. So I can understand how, like, you're tense and stuff. So listening to my voice and your lovely voice.
I think that there's something about heart attacks on a Monday morning. It's a higher percentage than
There
any other
is.
time of the week. So that sort of panic and fear might not be too good.
Oh, no, that's true.
I was thinking about, I don't know, have you some kind of... have you had sort of alternative bedroom desires?
Ooh.
Bit of panic and fear there might
Yeah.
work for you.
Oh, man, having this podcast on in some bedroom shenanigans, that's definitely recommended by me. I think that would be good.
I just anticipated that everybody was, you know, that was
There
what
are
this
some
was
people.
for.
I reckon there's going to be at least one place in the world where people are going to be copulating whilst listening.
Can we
to
ask
this
that
podcast.
he let you know?
Oh, certainly, yeah. No, Jesus Christ! If you are enjoying the carnal pursuits,
The ridiculousness first conception.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
That could be you
You'd have
guys.
to name your baby Martin Day. That'd be nice. Just in honour. You know, I'm not asking for anything much.
Even if it
really.
was a girl?
Just even if it was a girl, you call it Martina.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. There's nothing wrong with Martina. It's just an A on the end of it. So that's my female alternative. If I was a girl, I'd probably be Martina, I guess. Why not? It's not a leap of the imagination to imagine that. I don't know. If I was a girl, I would want to be called Samantha. I quite like the name Samantha. I like the way it feels as it rolls off my tongue.
How is that?
How is that?
Yeah.
What,
What is
how?
that feeling?
Well, it's weird. It's like there's a rolling feeling across my tongue when I say the word Samantha.
Mhm.
It starts at the back and it works its way forward from your mouth.
So when you're thinking about being a woman, you
I
get a
generally
rolling
sometimes do
sensation
think
in
about-
your mouth.
I am orally fixated, shall we say? Yeah. I don't know. Where's this fucking doing this podcast, holding this cock, this PlayStation branded phallus object in front of my mouth all day? What, all day? I don't do this all fucking day. This would be brilliant, though. If I could do this as a job, I would totally fucking do this. And there are people out there who do this for a job. Not necessarily just talking, but there's plenty of people. Like, I was telling you about this guy from Nottingham.
It could be a bit disappointing for some of your listeners and also the people that have, you know, taken inspiration from you and started doing this as a job. That you're saying it's not a job. You know, this is your vacation, man.
Well, this technically, at the moment, this is classed as a hobby for me. That's how I view this. I get enjoyment from this, so I want to keep doing it. In the end, it's going to if I keep doing it, it will grow and it will become bigger than I am. But
Are you
not
talking
necessarily,
about
like,
the podcast right now or
famous-wise.
something else?
I would love my penis to be bigger than I am. I'd love my penis to be bigger than God. I think I've got the penis to be bigger than God, I think. I wish there was some kind of, like, X Factor program, but for porn stars. That would be amazing. If, like, what's his name? The guy, the fucking
Would
ugly
they have different
guy.
categories? Like the cock bigger than God, or
Well,
I
no,
don't know.
what's his name? The guy, the
Lips
really ugly
wetter
guy.
than-
Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy.
I'm
He
trying
could
to
be
think
one
of
of the
something that's
judges.
wet.
Fucking
Waterfalls, what are they called?
golden showers.
No,
What?
no.
Waterfall.
Some big waterfalls. Niagara Falls, yeah.
Oh, Niagara Falls.
Lips
What?
that are wetter than Niagara Falls. That could be one of the contestant
Oh,
sort of
okay.
zones in
Well,
the
maybe.
competition.
I just think, I don't think there maybe should be. I mean, maybe there should be, like, age categories. I think, but I don't think you should
some of
narrow
them
it down to, like,
might not be legal.
this is the really wet vagina sector. Like, how does that work?
The wettest over 50s vagina.
The wettest. Oh, they need. I need. I was going to say they need a lot of help with their wetness, but I don't know. Probably not. They probably, so there's got to be some women out there that... Because, the older you are, you probably dry up, don't you, I guess?
Am I? How old are you?
I'm 32 this year.
I'm 1 year older.
You are 1 year older. Wow, so you're 32 right now?
What? No, sorry, I'm 33.
Okay, you're 33. Because I'm 32 this month. Well, obviously, wherever you are listening to this, it's probably not going to be this month. It might be way later in the future. But in this month, it's July right now, 2012, and I'm going to be 32 in July. So,
but it is always now. You don't want to confuse the listeners.
Well, no,
thinking
they are living in the now, and I'm living in the right now. But when they listen to it, they're not living in the right now that I'm living in.
But we're kind of being with them right now. Do you know what I mean?
It's like those philosophies that exist where I am living my own imagination and you are just a creation, and vice versa. It works both ways. And like in essence,
we're all projections of your inner world.
This is kind of what this is like. If you see what I mean, this is a projection that I'm putting up of my life. It's my words. And
so back to our copulating couples. Are they projecting right now?
Yeah. They are projecting right now. They're astral projecting right out into space. I think when you get locked in that sexual moment, we are tapping into a primal part of our brain that doesn't really get used anymore in this civilized society that we're in. And I think it's good. It's like like your prostate. You got to massage your prostate. You got to massage that little sex part of your brain. It just, when you're rutting... This has got very sexy again. It always gets sexy.
Does it?
I think generally it's my fault, but this time it's definitely your fault. Right. Definitely your fault on this one. I'm blaming you on that one. Sorry.
I sort of lost the flow a bit. You're talking about something.
I'm sorry. I talk a lot of shit.
Massaging the prostate of your brain.
Massaging the prostate of my brain.
You're talking about doing the podcast? That's something that you need to do?
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think that doesn't massage the prostate section of my brain.
Right.
That's later.
Sexiness.
I think
I just say hello to Sophie while we're on that subject?
Well, that's true, but I don't know Sophie. She hasn't been a guest on the podcast, so technically we can't say her name.
Okay,
I don't know. There is a Sophie out there, but when she comes on, she'll have a different name. Right. So it won't matter. But yeah, for the purposes of this story, her name has been changed. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd like to say hello to Sophie too. She'll be really pleased with that because she's my biggest fan. Oh. It's nice. This is like my friends listen to this, which is really cool. How
would you sort of diagnose your biggest fan? There could be other bigger fans out there that you don't know about yet.
At the moment, I currently stand at about 5, 6, 7. I don't know. I'm getting near to double figures of actual fans, people who have commented and said they liked it and stuff.
They like tit.
They like tits and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. My English is terrible sometimes. I'm not very good at talking.
Where are you from? Sorry.
Originally, I am from Southampton. I was born in Southampton, but I have moved all over England. I lived in Wales for a little bit of time, so I picked up a Welsh accent when I was there. But I've lost that now, obviously. But it's, it was beautiful. That was the best time of my life when I lived in Wales.
I like that you're so frank.
No, my name's Martin. No, I'm very frank and can. I'll talk about anything. I've talked about my homelessness in this podcast. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember which edition that was? Just in case any of the listeners want to sort of...
Oh, shit, I don't know. One of them.
Oh, right, okay.
I can't remember. Probably in the earlier episodes, I think. Because they were ones that were on my own.
So thinking to, when you've got 100 podcasts or, those numbers...
Well, that's going to be in the future, yeah. Eventually, I will get to 100 podcasts. If I continue with this trend of doing at least one a week... that won't be so bad, but this is upping the ante. This is 2 in 1 week now. I did one on Wednesday. And I did one now.
Well, you're in your teens.
Yeah, I'm in my teens.
You're no longer a pre-teens podcaster.
I know. I feel pretty good. I think I've moved from the amateur level to something a little bit more serious now. I think this is starting to snowball, and I haven't shown you the statistics. statistics, but I've got statistics on Podomatic.com because I pay. They give me a map that shows the world of listeners, and there is a world of listeners out there. I'm international. In fact,
so
I could bring
you just
it up
mentioned
right
the
now if you
website
would.
there.
The Podomatic.com people.
Yeah.
I'm
thinking about volcanoes. Just
volcanoes. Volcano will probably come up in the volcano vaporizer. Volcanoes are incredible things. When they erupt, they fill a bag with smoke. Well, it's not smoke; it's vapor. That's the thing, and it's incredibly smooth and probably makes you fuck better. I think as well. Getting back onto the sexy.
right.
It's good to have an undercurrent of sexy, I think.
Is it?
I think so. Sexy and a little bit cheeky. I think, yeah. I can't think of myself as sexy, though. I think I'm far too awkward to be sexy. Yeah, I can't think of myself as sexy. I can think of myself as sexual, but I don't think I'm sexy, particularly. I think you're quite sexy.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know how people. Yeah.
I think
Sexy,
with glasses,
feeling
though.
sexy.
With glasses.
I think it's
Glasses are
something
quite
that-
a big thing for me, though. I do really like glasses. Obviously, I mean, it's because I wear glasses, I think, and, it's just something that I identify with. I've worn glasses since I was, 5 or 6 years old.
Are we going to copulate for the copulators?
Maybe. I mean, I
How
just
would
met
we
you,
want to
and
get
this is
that
crazy,
across?
but here's my
like-
number, so you could call me maybe.
How
Sorry.
because the listeners would need some sort of update on. How
Well, yeah, I
everything's
mean,
going.
we'll have to fill them in, just as you're going to fill me in later. I think. Oh dear, nice. See, yeah, I think in this situation, I would have to be the receiver, I suppose.
Mhm.
Yeah, the wide receiver.
So I'd hold you up against my ear.
Yeah, oh, that's romantic. I like that. Oh, that's sweet. Would you whisper sweet nothings into my ears?
Could do.
Could do. Oh, all right.
Sweet
That wasn't the
nothings.
first
Listen
thing
me
in
some
mind.
sweet nothings.
Sweet nothings. Well, no, sweet nothings is pillow talk, isn't it? That's what that means. I'm just whispering sweet nothings. I love you. You're just amazing. You're the best thing in the world. It's like you just have to say those things to the. Oh my god! You touch the innermost parts of my soul.
That brings me on to a couple of songs that I'd like to compare.
Oh, okay.
You think you know it, right? Hang on there. Hang in there.
Okay.
It's doing my head in. Somebody tell me. Like,
Oh,
they're a bit close.
is that somebody that I used to know then, or is that the
Something
Paul
deep
Weller song?
inside, like
Something deep inside. You do something to me.
I'm
That song.
loving it.
I'm loving it.
I think there's a
Do you-
remix possibility out there.
Can I bring up a fact about you then?
I
If that's
reckon.
all right? You're a vegetarian, aren't you?
Well,
What
I'm
kind
actually
of?
a bit of a pesky eater. I'm a bit more of a pescatarian, and things are
Pescatarian.
changing. Right?
Is that the fish then?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like Pisces, the star sign. It's
Yeah, I guess,
P-I-S-C.
that's
Pisca.
Latin. I'm
Something like
going
that.
to assume it's from that because I know about that shit.
And yeah, so I eat fish, but I'm also eating chicken every now and then. Right now,
Really?
only in one
Okay.
location in my life, like
Cool.
on weekends, usually on a Sunday evening.
Oh,
I'm finding myself a chicken, and I had some chicken gravy the other week, which was
chicken
run out
gravy
of-
is fucking delicious.
Bisto, red container of Bisto. Yeah, the beefy
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Vegetarian. It's crazy. How's that happen?
Well, it's just flavouring, isn't it? It's not actual meat products that's going into
But the
it.
chicken one's
I mean,
got
when
chicken
there are gonna be
fat in it. Ooh.
yeah, because that's where you get the flavour from. But
So chicken tastes of chicken, but beef doesn't taste beefy enough to put in because it doesn't taste of beef.
I mean, obviously you can get beefy gravies that do have like meaty products in them.
Mhm.
But yeah, there are going to be ones that are vegetarian. It's like when you get like smoky bacon flavoured crisps, and they're suitable for vegetarians. And it's like because it's
I
just
saw
potato
Quorn
powder.
king prawns.
What Quorn king
King
prawns?
That's the next
Wow.
step, isn't it?
That's amazing. I always find it odd that vegetarians eat like meat-shaped things like they will have corn bacon slices where it's like it's shaped and looks like bacon. I can understand eating corn like fucking tofu, man, is pretty cool. Like you fry that shit up with some garlic and crazy basil.
I was looking
and
at
stuff.
a low carb diet the other day,
Ooh.
and they talked about what you should and shouldn't eat. And like if you're on a diet, any diet, probably you don't eat fudge. Yeah,
Fudge. I love fudge.
but
I
like
eat fudge.
if you were on a healthy diet,
If I was on a healthy diet, I wouldn't want to eat fudge. No, I would.
So
think
there was
that
a
is
low carb recipe for fudge, and like you had to get all of these obscure ingredients to make this thing that was very similar to fudge but wasn't actually fudge. So you could still eat fudge while you're on your diet.
Yeah, I would do that.
Okay.
It depends. I mean, how expensive is this fudge that we're
There
talking
was
about?
quite an obscure ingredient. I can't remember. Like it was GL15X or something like that.
Oh, wow.
You know?
So, yeah. That's going to be maybe like a stabilizer type ingredient, maybe? I have no idea.
2 wheels that you attach onto your mill.
Wow. I don't know. You could probably get away with just chucking, like, grind up a couple of, like, vitamin, like, supplement pills and just chuck that in because there's bound to be, those letters will probably make up that one. There's going to be vitamin B and H, all that stuff. You could throw in a Bic pen or a razor. There's a couple of letters in that. I am quite into my supplements. I like supplements a lot.
The Time supplement I think is quite good. Yeah.
Yes.
It's full colour. I like the paper.
Oh, it's actually telling me a time. I need to see the time. Oh, fuck me. We have the opportunity to record a 4.5-hour podcast.
4.5 hours.
We're not going to do that, obviously, because that would be insane. My friend said that they would want to hear a 24-hour podcast. Whereas,
Could people pause and stuff? And
you could have a podcast. I thought, oh, yeah, absolutely. You download this. Or you can listen to it on the website if you like, which is pretty cool. It's got the soundbar. It's a play button. You can pause it, whatever. Or there's a download button. So, like, you download it. You stick it on your non-generic MP3 device. Because you can't say
through
iPod.
one of those record mixing systems, so you scratch the record. And
It's an
go
MP3, so you can do whatever you want with it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
rewind.
yeah, you could mess about with. Why you would want to do that with this, I don't really know. But
Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, people should cut the fuck up my stuff.
Cut. What?
Cut the fuck up.
Cut the fuck up.
Yeah. That's a name of albums by a group called Pop Chop. They do mashups. I really like mashups. I really appreciate a good mashup where you take one song, two songs, and mash them up, man. You're familiar with that? I just played you a couple.
Like mashed potato and
Doesn't necessarily have to. And the Bodger and Badger theme tune.
That are also song titles, so we could mix them together. But one of them's got to be mashed potato. What goes with mash? That is a song.
Sausages. There's got to be a song
Hot chocolate.
that involves sausages.
Hot chocolate and mash.
Chocolate and mash.
Hot chocolate and mash.
That's a bit weird. I wouldn't have chocolate potatoes.
You can leave your mash on.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I see. I like that. That's a good song. That's a genuinely funny moment. I like that. Can you think of any more potato-based pop songs then?
Well,
I'm going to leave that, thinking in the back of your mind. You can, and you can text them in. Well, you can email them if you like. I'm going to do a little bit of a plug here. My email address is theridiculousness@gmail.com. THERIDICULOUSNESS. And I didn't even have it written on the screen. I can spell that word pretty well now. I'm even getting a theme tune done. Some friends of mine are going to be recording a theme tune. Do you know, originally, when I first started doing this, I talked to you about this when I first started doing it.
Yeah, I remember.
You said you were going to make me a logo.
Absolutely, yeah. And
I ain't seen no logo. I made my own logo now, though. It's
you?
better than the one I showed. Do you remember I showed you one before, and it was just like some horrible fucking thing? I've made it's still pretty basic, but there's like a little like avatar of me.
It's like something inside me has just
MP3.
died when I heard that we'd given birth to this idea
Oh
And-
no, I totally need a
but
better fucking logo.
You've run on it, and
I
I
had to like just
my
throw one
makeup on.
together at like a quick opportunity. I had to. I can't have because the one I had before was shit. It was just some checkered background with the ridiculousness written on it. That was rubbish, and it didn't fit properly on an iPod because that's what I did the picture for. Because I'm not necessarily that you can get non-generic MP3 devices that will display pictures, but mostly they will just display a text.
I'm there. I'm doing it. Just email me.
You can put it on your phone. You can do anything you want with these
We could
podcasts.
get
Easy
stickers. Fucking stick them over
stickers.
the lampposts.
Wow,
With
that would get
URL.
people listening to it.
Mhm.
I would have to. It's the ridiculousness.podomatic.com.
I found
is the
something out
URL.
today about tiny URL.
Yes, I
So
have a tiny
you can
URL.
type it in, but you can like customize what your tiny URL is.
You've got to pay for that though. Surely.
No, I did it today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So you could do like tinyurl.com/your mum or whatever.
That's probably already taken.
Well, if it wasn't, it is
Yeah.
now. Sure.
Boom.
God, that's another one on the market.
Yeah. Oh dear. This is cool though.
Can we just picture a little log fire going on?
Oh, I'd love to get. We've got a fireplace, but we've got stereo equipment that doesn't work properly in it. I'd love to have it as a proper like log fire.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be amazing. Have it working.
Just another little shout out to our love-making couples right now.
Yeah. Oh, if you are making love
Sexy time.
on a rug.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Maybe you've been drinking a little champagne. You've
A
been
little champagne.
smoking a little cigars.
Smoking a little cigar.
Monica.
Yeah, you got a little bit of cum on your blouse there.
Was he wearing
Was it
her
on the
blouse?
blouse or like on her leg, wasn't it? Because like she had like some dried semen on like some of her clothes. That was one of the bits of evidence that she used, wasn't it? I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was some evidence. My voice went really funny. Yeah, I know. I need to have a drink. I've got some coffee on hand. This is really weird being in this chair because I'm not normally in this chair.
You're in the elevated chair that you give to your guests. And
Yeah.
I've taken.
You've taken one of the sofa chairs.
I know.
An actual like
I
nice
needed to plant
comfy chair.
myself.
Well, it's good though. It's comfy, isn't it?
Talking of taking root,
Taking root. Being rooted.
Rooted ginger root.
Ginger roots. I fucking
Shave
love
it,
root ginger.
shove it up your bum, and it's called figging. Victorian sex game. You put it up your bum, and then you've got to be spanked. And if you clench while you're spanked, then it makes the juice come out, and it stings even more. So it's a way that you can get your person to enjoy being spanked, or maybe not, without clenching.
Wow, that was incredible.
Mm.
I like that. I'm gonna have to try that one.
Figging.
I need to go to the shop. I think Co-op is going to be closing soon.
Well,
So I'm gonna have to-
You showed me a bottle earlier that you were talking.
Oh shit! My Neuro Bliss.
It sort of sinks in and then back out again. if
Yeah,
you
it's
go
got the
along
it's got the
with it.
relax point.
And
Yeah,
you want one of those in your ginger.
I
so
could
you
take
don't
that
use the
easy. I could
ginger.
fucking take that bottle. I've had poos that are way bigger than that bottle. I'm not kidding.
You can't have done.
I'm not kidding. I have had some massive poos.
John Kirk. Could you Google John Kirk? Thanks.
I ain't that big. I'm no Goatse Man, but shit, I shouldn't reference that. Don't type that in. Don't look for the Goatse Man. He will bite you in the ass. And you least expect it. When you wake up at like 3 a.m, you'll just have it burned into your retina. All you can see is the inside of quite an old man. I can't. Well, oh,
That's
it's
a
all right.
spoiler, that is.
That is a bit of a spoiler.
So I'm going to have to drop some more.
Okay.
www.
You don't have to do the www dot anymore. You know that, right?
Okay.
You could just say the webpage.
Horsehungladyboy.com.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one. Do you want to pull that one up?
It's actually my ringtone.
Oh, nice.
I borrowed it.
Oh, wow.
I like to think that I'm the only person in the world with that ringtone, but that might have changed. And also, if anybody recognised it while I was on the public transport or whatever, like, I don't know that song. No, I don't. No, I'm not just going to own up to having
No.
seen that.
Oh, good Lord, no. And if you are the only person in the world who has this ringtone,
If
it's not going to
anybody
really
hears
narrow
it.
It's going to narrow it down for people. If they, well, it is going to narrow it down because they
Oh
have
my
to
God,
listen
it's
to
you.
this
I heard
podcast.
you on the Ridiculousness. Wow.
Yeah, you're that guy.
Yeah.
The crazy guy who's got that weird, sexy ladyboy ringtone.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's brilliant. I think if we can find it, that would. It's quite a.
That would be
Are
awesome.
we allowed to put music on?
Well, we could, but they probably won't hear it. That's the problem. Whoever's listening, they probably won't hear it because it doesn't really get picked up on the microphones. I'm not clever enough to figure out how to record music through this.
Yeah.
My
Well, I
computer
think
isn't
you really
good
want
enough
a
to
separate
record
channel
music.
so it's not interfering with our
Yeah, that's the problem.
monotonous.
I tried
voices that
to.
are
Well,
just
they're not
like,
monotonous. You're monotonous right now. You sound like.
I'm really worried about my breathing. I'll get it out of the way.
And relax. It's all right. Don't worry about your breathing.
Relaxation point. So, what else?
Oh, that was
What
on the
else?
yeah.
The ginger.
Relax. I'm big into my relaxation at the moment, because I'm getting all stressed up and pent up. So
Mhm.
I need to just relax. I'm taking life too seriously at the moment.
So
I
a
think that's my
little
problem.
profound proverb.
The profound
one of them.
proverbs of society.
Yesterday, something about going surfing. Like, you don't really want to be thrashing about in the water. You just sort of float and go with the waves, isn't it?
That is. I like that.
Yeah, that was for
I don't.
you.
That's what I do in the water. I don't. I mean, I do to a point. I swim till I'm really tired, and then I float. Because I like to push myself.
Mm.
When I'm quite a. Are you a good swimmer?
I quite enjoy swimming, and I imagine myself as this polar bear, sort of like big and gliding through the water.
Yeah, they
Like
glide through the water.
I visualise polar bears swimming, you know, when
Nice.
the underwater footage.
Yeah. I fucking love swimming, man. I'm a good swimmer too.
I like diving in the pool backwards.
I can't. I'm a shit diver. I can't dive in the pool.
And sometimes I do like breaststroke, but upside down, just under the surface of the water.
Wow.
So that I can see the surface of the water sort of going straight past my
Can
eyes.
you have
That's
your eyes
amazing.
open underwater in a swimming pool?
Well, if I could see the top of the water, then I guess I must have had my eyes open. Hmm.
Because I can't have my eyes open in a swimming pool. Under the water, obviously. Above water, I can see all the time. That would be terrible. Do they still have those signs on the wall in swimming pools?
No petting.
No petting, no bombing, no running, no acrobatics, no heavy petting.
No heavy petting.
It was
but-
always heavy. It was heavy
but
petting.
all
on
levels
ours.
of petting
No.
are banned.
No, light petting, I think, is fine.
So
'Cause
when
that's
I,
just like, that's light petting, I think. Heavy petting is the kissing.
aside from the dreams that I had when I turned up at school and I wasn't actually wearing any clothes, I used to have dreams where I'd be flying, and I used to go for flying lessons at my local swimming pool. And
Oh, okay.
I realised that the reason for it being at the swimming pool was because there was all the bars in the ceiling, you know, the ones that hold going across the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can hang on to those, just have a chill out while you're in the air.
Okay.
And if you did have a bad accident, you'd land in the water, so you'd be fine.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
I always had, they weren't flying dreams, but they were jumping dreams, where I could jump really high, and like I would feel the rushing of myself going up. I would feel the sensation, and then
Excuse me.
It's all right. You are excused at all times. But I would feel like hitting the peak, the arc of it, and then starting the plummet back to earth, and I would get because I would jump pretty high, like, you know, at least like 4 or 5 stories high, and then I would feel that plummet, and like I would always think I'd hit the ground like too hard, but I always land, and then I'd do a few steps and jump again.
I've heard that sensation is
amazing.
like you've got your physical body and you've got your astral body, the body that you're sort of within when you're dreaming.
Yeah.
And the two are connected by this little silver cord or whatever. And the two bodies inhabit 2 different dimensions, and obviously, like, they vibrate at different rates. So, like, when you're changing gear in a car, you want to gradually go into gear rather than pull your foot off the clutch immediately. And when your astral body returns to your physical body, it needs to be gradual.
Yeah.
And if it's not, and the cogs are, not all synced up, then you're going to get a sensation like this falling thing that you're talking about. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. It's quite an important...
It is. I think it's you're.
And
what
once
you're
it's
kind
been
of talking about
labelled,
is
you
lucid
can...
dreaming. Essentially,
Yeah,
is what you're
yeah.
talking about. And it's a fascinating subject. It really is, and you can. Oh, excuse me. You can really, like. I mean, I don't really dream anymore. Unfortunately, I've kind of
That's a sad thing to be able to say.
I do dream. Obviously, the brain just kicks off these.
But dreams
things,
for yourself
but
and
I
your
don't-
future.
I certainly don't notice because, unfortunately, I think my cannabis habit is a little too high. And
Is that like a nun's habit, but made out of cannabis?
yes, oh, that'd be fucking amazing if I had some dress just made. But you can get hemp. Hemp is amazing for making clothes.
Sativa fraught.
I want a full on. If I could be a nun, I would have a habit made out of hemp. Hemp habit.
Would you have a green burqa?
I would have a green burqa. I would, yeah. Green with cannabis leaves on it. And, like, dicks, I think. Just little dicks. Cartoon dicks. Or sperm, maybe. Like, I don't want to be, like... Well, yeah, no, literally, like, covered in sperm, I think. And I'm not talking about little cartoon bits. Like, literally, I've just, over a course of a month...
I'm just thinking that burqas covered in sperm is not really a good topic.
No. Well, no, it's not a burqa. I want it, yeah. Something else.
I might
just
take
like
advantage of somebody that I used to know. And they went
somebody
to
that I used to know.
a mosque in a foreign country
Oh, somebody.
with a guy
Mm.
that was their partner at the time. And they put, apparently, pillows up inside their clothes and they wore burqas.
Oh.
And went into the ladies' side of the mosque with vodka. And they got into quite a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I bet they did. They're not allowed to drink.
No.
Their body is a temple. Which, you know, I certainly think that's a really good thing. I don't like alcohol so much. I drink alcohol because, you know, like, I kind of like, I'm more developed to it, but I don't like the
You're
effect.
more developed to it.
I don't know, I feel like, you know, I can drink now because I kind of like the taste of it, if you see what I mean.
It's
But
weird
like
how
before, I
taste
didn't like the
changes,
taste of
isn't
it. Yeah, it is.
Like,
But
I had some red wine the other day. I've just crossed the I've crossed the red line. I've crossed the red wine threshold.
wow. And what are you talking about? The
In
red
the
wine
past
that
couple
makes
of
you go, makes your mouth go like a cat's
What's
butthole.
that? Tannin, I think it's called.
Yeah. Oh God.
Astringent.
I'm not so good with wine. Maybe that's when I get to 33. Yeah.
So what's that? A year and a bit.
That's a year and 1 month from now. So this time next
This
month.
now, but not the now that.
Yeah,
other people are
a different now.
doing.
A
Yeah.
different now. That's the name of this episode.
Fantastic.
That's
High
it.
five.
High five. I need to get a pen and write that shit down because my memory is awful. Oh man, I accidentally pressed the button. I hope that didn't affect anything. It still seems to be going. Yeah, 1 2 1 2.
I'll do another website drop then. Talking of buttons.
A different now. That was it. See, I'd forgotten it then already.
Poobutton.com.
Poobutton.com.
That's got music on it as well.
Oh,
You'll
okay.
love it. And there is a connection between the song and the performance, shall we say.
Oh, right. Nice. Ah, wow. Do you know how long we've gone for? Can you see there's a little timer on the top?
Shall I guess?
Okay, how long have
I
we gone
reckon
for?
28 minutes, 17 seconds.
Oh, no, 33 minutes, 51 seconds. So
How
you're
old
not
am I?
far off. That's 5 minutes off.
How old am I?
You're 33.
Oh.
So it's been on for nearly just as many minutes as you have been alive. Wow. Well, no, that's less.
I think everybody who's listening to this will know exactly what you mean. And
Oh, God. My words don't come out of my mouth properly. Certainly in this last week, I don't feel as switched on this week. This is why I started drinking that Neuro Bliss stuff to try and like kickstart my brain a bit, but it's not working, god damn it.
So Neurobliss, that's the bottle that you can.
That's
fit
the
up
bottle
your,
that you can probably. It's
way.
definitely somebody is going to insert that into their body at some point in the
But
future.
you know, if somebody phones up the Samaritans and says, "I'm thinking about killing myself," to help work out whether the person's actually serious or not, they ask them whether they've thought about how they would do that. So the thing is,
Wow.
you're talking about this bottle, and you've actually disclosed to me about getting a condom over there. So you're visualizing the process.
Oh shit! You have, if you're going to insert something into your body, you best put a fucking condom on that shit. Do you know like how dirty things are? That bottle. How many hands have touched that bottle? How how's?
Can you get AIDS from a carrot?
I don't think you can get AIDS from a carrot, but there's bacteria on it that you don't want going into your anus or vagina, whatever your pleasure.
You like shoving stuff up your ass, don't you?
When I was younger, I did put a hairbrush handle up
I was
my
thinking
butt.
about the wrong end there.
No, I didn't put the bristles up there. Are you crazy? Well, I just wanted to give it a clean. It's like a chimney sweep. No, but
Condom.
like I was interested in it. Like it's not like a big thing anymore, but well, I said in the last podcast. I need to cough as well, but I'm just going to go with it. I said in the last podcast that I need to hammer the shit out of my prostate to even
Puffcast.
think about coming. Puffcast. That's the new trend that's catching on Twitter right now. I'm on Twitter. Are you on Twitter?
One of my alter egos, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, we could put that in the comments section if you want. Your Twitter address. You might get some followers.
I don't know.
I hope that I get some followers. I've got some followers. I think 30 odd. That's pretty bad, though, really.
What I use Twitter for isn't really got any connection to this sort of life of relaxation and
no.
just being friendly. And, it's separate. It's work.
Well, yeah, no, that's true. Physical time is pretty good. We're doing all right. Eventually, people are going to get home. So we might be disturbed.
Oh.
But I don't think we will. It's certainly not going to happen for the moment. Because
I'm trying to think how we began. When you go to a counsellor and the first thing that you say when you walk in the room, that's the headline, whether you like it or not. So like when you leave, when you've got your hand on the door handle, that's called the door knocker or something like that, because you've got control of your exit, you're holding the door handle, and then you just drop the bomb that you should have said half an hour ago so that you could have actually spent some time talking about it. It's like, I'll just leave that with you, counsellor. But it also means that you can escape. You've got perfect reason to... So you don't get rejected for having said what you've just said that was so profound and important that you left it to the last minute. So I can't remember really why I started with that. The headline. So when we began tonight, we were talking about going to work or... being fearful or something like that.
And hoping that people weren't fearful.
Yeah.
I was hoping people were happy. I always want people to be happy. I don't want people to be miserable. And when I meet people, I hope that, because I can be kind of animated.
M-E-E-T or M-E-A-T?
When I mince people. No. When I meet people, like certainly at work, my job is very customer based.
Do you talk about your job on here much?
I have in the past. Yeah, it's been brought up in conversation, but I don't really want to go into like the ins and outs of my job because it's very boring. But it's very customer based, and I'm very physical with my serving thing. If you know, I'm very verbal.
Are you a sex worker?
I'm not a sex worker.
I'm
I used to be
verbal,
in the past.
I'm very physical. You used to be in the past?
Yeah. In the past, I have accepted money for having sex with somebody.
And I think I remember you telling me about a scenario with.
There was a scenario with my finger, some tramp's finger in my shoe.
I love this story.
I'm going to tell this story now, if that's okay. Do you mind if I take the moment or two? It was when I was living.
Take your time over it, please.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm going to give this story some justice because it was fascinating for me. This was a pivotal moment in my life, I think. But I was living in Brighton at the time. I was homeless and living in a night shelter that was run by a church. So it was a church-run night shelter, which had 2 floors. In fact, I've even talked about that place before. But my friends that were there, I had the choice of hanging out with alcoholics or heroin addicts, because they were the only 2 groups of people that were in the hostel. So I kind of gravitated towards the heroin addicts, really. They were all reasonably nice people, and they were reasonably nice to me. They could have fucking terrorised me if they wanted, and they didn't so much. But this one time, when I was hanging around with the heroin addicts, they would go into like public toilets, lock themselves in a cubicle to inject the heroin into their veins, because that's what they do. And I, because I was hanging around with them, I don't really want to go into the cubicle with them, because, I don't want to encroach upon their space. I don't want to bump into them mid, jab. That would fucking, it'd be horrible. I don't want to see it. So I kind of sat sort of just off from the entrance. Like, it's quite a big toilets, and there was like a little baby changing area, if you will. That's where I was sitting.
I know these toilets, like...
Well, I went back to Brighton recently, and I've revisited those toilets. I've relived some memories. But so I'm sitting there while, my friends are in the toilets injecting heroin into their arteries and veins. I can't remember which one it is. It's vein or artery. Because if you get one, it won't work, and if you get the other, it does work. I think it's veins, but I don't know.
Arteries go away from your heart. They're full of all of the oxygenated blood, and the veins go back.
Okay, then you want the veins, because you want it to go into your heart. Yeah, cool. Sweet, then it's veins. Well done. I learnt a little bit of biology there. Thank you very much. Thank you. But so I'm sitting there in the baby changing area.
I think arteries are deeper as well, because you don't want them near the surface of you, because if you get a wound, then they're vulnerable.
Oh.
And they supply. So
Yeah. You don't want... that's crazy.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to be that.
I want to be under the skin. I don't want to be on top of the skin. I'll be
an
under
artery.
the skin.
An artery.
I'm an artery, yeah. In the metaphysical highway of life.
I was going to call you a deep vein, but...
I've got a couple of deep veins. Yeah. Really big ones.
What does thrombosis mean?
Thrombosis. Deep vein thrombosis is...
Isis,
fuck knows.
Itis is inflammation. Throb. I know it's not any of those words.
It's not throb, it's throm. Thrombosis.
I know, but it sounds...
I don't know. It's going to be an inflammation of the veins and arteries in your legs. Because that's what it is, isn't it? And you have to wear the socks. The anti-embolism socks.
That I thought about before.
You interrupted my story anyway.
I know, you told me to interrupt you earlier, though.
Did you? Oh, okay, yeah, no, I did say you got to talk over me.
Yeah.
You've got to derail me, but that's all right.
So there's
well done.
Entropy, and it's like when if you had a vacuum or a space and you've got some stuff in there, that stuff would spread out so it filled the space and it was equidistant. Every particle of it was equidistant, so the whole space was fairly balanced. There's an equilibrium there. Everything spread out equally. So entropy is a force, as referred to as a force, and if it is a force, this is a theory, then there'd be an opposing force. So they invented this thing called syntropy, which is where things come together, and it's talked about that life is syntropy and things coming together, because you get people that hoard stuff, so it's bringing together rather than it all being dispersed throughout the universe, or Fort Knox and there's been loads of gold. Yeah. So life is about bringing stuff together into one place.
Okay.
And competing against entropy, man.
That was very deep.
It's not really that I haven't got a conclusion, but I'm
okay. This is still a work in progress then. Yeah, this really is just a theory.
It's an opportunity for other people to go with it.
Okay, they need to
and
pick up the
ball. And not to thrash
ball.
about in the water, but to ride the wave.
Yeah. Surf the... paddle along, really. Just float.
I don't want to tell you to go back to your story, but...
I am going to go back to my story now, though.
My story.
I can't remember where I was. I was sitting in the baby-changing area of public toilets, which is opposite a multi-storey car park. in Brighton, and my friends who were heroin addicts were jacking up jacking off. Well, that comes later. But yeah, they're in the toilets, and then this strange-looking man. He was a very strange-looking man to begin with. Very sweaty, dressed in a dirty-looking suit, which is kind of a bit bulging. Like the suit was a bit too small for him. Just a little, and it got those gaps in between. Where the shirt is kind of stretched out. Yeah.
Buttons pulling
and
it together.
he comes into the toilet and he sort of stands by the urinal and he's kind of looking over at me, like he's noticed that I'm there because I was sitting like kind of just out of the entrance, but yeah. And as he finishes, like he comes over.
You were in the loo, or
I was
in the
I was
tiled
in the
building?
toilet area, yeah. But there was a baby changing sort of area of the toilet, and that's where I was sort of sitting, just on like a little shelf, just waiting for them to finish. I guess I shouldn't have been sitting in the toilets. That's kind of it. Didn't it looked like
it does imply something?
It does imply something, yeah. But he came over and he kind of mumbled.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Cigar's just a cigar. He mumbled, "Can I put my finger in your shoe and masturbate myself?"
Say
that
again.
"Can I put my finger in your shoe and masturbate myself?"
One more time.
One more time.
Oh yeah, go.
Can I say it normally, or do I have to say it in the same voice?
We're sort of taking people there. The sex act going on while people are listening to this.
"Can I stick my finger in your shoe and masturbate myself?" So I kind of like looked a bit like, because this doesn't happen to me every day. I didn't really know what to do. I'm like, and then he said,
"There isn't a handbook for that situation, I don't think."
There's no pamphlet on that one. What happens if a stranger walks up to you and asks you, "Can I stick my finger in your shoe and masturbate myself?" I think he said wank himself off, but for the purpose of the story, he said masturbate myself, because it's double M, and I like that. But
M&Ms.
I kind of ummed and ahed. I was like,
ummed and ahed to the M&Ms.
And he said, "I can pay you." And that was the fucking deal right there. I said, "How much?" And he said, £40. And I'm like, when was this? This was 1999. It was either 98 or 99, because I was there for that period. So
you were
like
18.
40 quid. I was 18, 19 then. £40, that's a lot of fucking money. I didn't have any money. I was homeless. You know what I mean? I got like the dole. I blitzed that on drugs and then fucking survived for the next 2 weeks till I got paid again. So 40 quid, ka-ching, yes please, gives me the money, and then he puts his finger inside my shoe. Now I'd already mentioned
while you're wearing it.
While I'm wearing it, yeah. He does literally put his finger directly into my shoe and he is feeling my foot.
Oh, that tickles.
Like that. Yeah, no, like it.
Can
yeah.
you sort of describe the
really, he put it in the middle, and he was really feeling about the bottom, the sole of my foot.
Up in the arch.
Really up in the arch, all the spaces that you could get to.
And inside your
shoe,
the ecosystem there, how would you describe that at this time of your life?
As I said, I was homeless. I didn't really change my socks on a regular period. They were pretty sweaty. They weren't like in the best of conditions. But then he pulls out his penis. This is a micro penis. It is literally about an inch long, and it's erect already. So it ain't gonna get any bigger than that, baby. I don't know if you've ever encountered a micro penis in your life. That was actually the second micro penis that I'd seen.
I'm not sure if we'll get onto that subject or not.
Okay, cool. Well, I have, and believe you me, like, I haven't got a micro penis, so I can't imagine what it could be like.
I've seen photographs of your penis.
Really? Oh, yeah, no, there's photographs of my penis floating around all over the place. You could just find them in the woods, I think. That's where they are. But, and he's rooting around in my sweaty old shoe, and he's pulled out his little micro penis, and he's rubbing it away. He's giving it quite a good little bash, and he's really going for it. He's vigorous. But it's taking a bit of time, and I'm scared.
Time that you're getting paid for.
Well, time that I'm getting paid for, albeit.
Where were you looking? What are you doing?
Well, I'd already mentioned that he had a micro penis, so I've got to look at his penis. You know what I mean? I watch a lot of porn. I look at penis all fucking day.
But were you transfixed by it? Were you trying to look away?
It was fucking tiny.
Were you waiting for, in anticipation for...
I want to see him come, to be honest with you. Yeah. I want to see that.
So you're quite committed to your customer service. You want customer satisfaction.
Yeah. But, I'm scared that these heroin addicts are going to finish shooting up and they're going to come out and catch me he's not going to finish in time. And, they're going to catch me doing this. And I don't really want people to know that I do this.
Do you do this?
Be prepared. I was prepared to do it then. So, when they come out, what are they going to think? So, fucking hell. So, I give him some verbal encouragement.
Whispering sweet nothings.
I was whispering some sweet nothings to him.
So, I'm looking for more sweet nothing examples.
Come on then, big boy.
Really?
Come on, big boy, you wang that cock for me.
You were saying
You wang that cock, come on, you show me your cock, come on. I want him to finish, so I'm giving him encouragement. But the worst happens.
You were quite convincing.
The unthinkable happens. The door, I hear the lock slide over in the door, and I freeze. And I close my eyes, and I throw myself into the corner. And this fucking man I pretended to be asleep. And then they see this man with his finger inside my shoe, and I'm just asleep in the corner. And they go, "Oi!" And he looks at them, and he runs out of the toilet. He legs it, and he runs into the mortuary car park, and they chase after him. They didn't catch him, because they've just shot up a whole load of heroin. They ain't chasing shit. But yeah, they came back and were like, "What the fuck, man?
Chasing the
dragon. What happened? Well, they weren't smoking it. Chasing the dragon, smoking it."
Fair enough. I thought it was being clever.
That is a reference to when they burn it on tinfoil and all this smoke comes off. That's like the dragon, chasing the dragon. Because you have to hold the tinfoil at an angle and the heroin will run across it. You can't have it in a pool because it will burn through the tinfoil. You have to trace it backwards and forwards. I've seen people do this. I've never tried heroin myself. It's not something that I want to do. I have said, though, that if I was diagnosed with some kind of terminal illness, that maybe I would probably try it then. It's a pretty good fucking painkiller from what I've heard. If I'm in a lot of pain, I might want that. So, yeah, I'd fucking do it then. But I ain't doing that now. It robs you of your life. It really does. It really does. I've seen it.
You're lying there in the public toilet.
So I was there in the public toilet, and they come back in, and they're like, "What the fuck was happening there, man?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I was asleep. You were ages, man, and I fell asleep. And then I wake up, and there's some guy wanking, and he's got his finger in my shoe."
And what's that 40 quid hanging
They
out
didn't
your
see the
pocket?
40 quid in my pocket. I snuck out later from their company, and I bought a burger. From Uncle Sam's. Have you heard of the Uncle Sam's restaurant chain?
No,
at all?
I don't think so.
There are Uncle Sam restaurants. They make really good burgers. And the very first one in Britain was in this little side street in Brighton. Mm-hmm. And I used to go there all the time when I was 18, 19, living in Brighton. Mm-hmm. And just having seen a micro penis, what I like to do is get an Uncle Sam's burger.
Can we call him Uncle Sam?
Yeah, I'm going to call him Uncle Sam now. So the moment that Uncle Sam stuck his finger in my shoe and got his micro penis out. But that was, I was 40 quid up on the deal. I did feel bad, though. I feel really bad for that man because he didn't finish. He didn't finish the job.
And it was
I should have given him half the money back. Because, he did stuff. He got half a job, but not a whole.
What he had asked for. But
Yeah.
There was an
He didn't
implicit
say,
request there as
"Can
well.
I wank myself to completion?"
Yeah.
He should have. He changed.
He might have had other desires as well about, where he would come, what you would do.
Well,
with the
yeah,
cum.
I didn't really
So it could be
anticipate that.
you
He
needed
could
to
have
give
come
him
on me.
35
what
quid
if?
back.
Because as well as I do, when you start coming, it's not like I'm really concerned about where it's going. You know what I mean? It's get it out, blah, 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 blah. So, what the fuck, man? What if he'd have turned around and just been blah, 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 in my face, man? Ooh, I don't want micro penis. Blah, blah, blort.
James what?
James Blort. You're beautiful. Yeah. What do you reckon of James Blort? Do you like James Blort? I fucking love James Blort.
Do
I don't
you?
like his songs
Blount.
particularly.
Blount was his original name when he's called himself Blunt.
James Blunt.
Mm.
But, you know, I like him. He's a really funny guy. He takes the piss out of himself, and I appreciate
I've not
and
seen
respect
that. I've only seen the sort of marketed.
Oh, okay. I don't particularly like his songs. They're not for me, but I like him
There's-
as a guy. He seems pretty cool.
There is something for me about his voice that doesn't work with the music. There's
Yeah.
something a little bit. I don't know. It's not strong. Some
No.
weakness there.
There is a parody of that song, though, You're Beautiful, by James Blunt, by the Amateur Transplants. I don't know if I've ever played you the Amateur Transplants.
Sounds familiar, but
They do parodies of songs. They're a group, or at the moment, there's only one of them, Adam Kay, it is. But there's another guy called Suman Biswas. They're, well, certainly as far as I know, they were junior doctors. I guess they still are doctors. Real bona fide doctors. But they do parodies of songs that are really funny. And the James Blunt You're Beautiful one is you're a paedophile. It's all a song about, like, this is from the kid's perspective about this guy who's hanging around. And you're a paedophile. They say your name is Clive and you're 35, but I don't let that come between us. And you let me hold your hand. That's one of the lines.
and drop
But they're
me off
really
at school.
funny. There's no reference. Oh no, when you pick me up from school, they do reference school in there. But they're really funny, so I definitely recommend looking up the Amateur Transplants. Or Adam Kay. Look up Adam Kay, because he's done some songs recently. They're really funny. I might play you some when we go back into the kitchen.
Back into the kitchen.
Yeah, because at the
What's
moment...
this episode called?
This episode is called... I can't remember. It's called A Different Now.
A Different Now.
Because they'll be listening to it in a different now.
So we've just been taken back in time as well. Like,
We have just been taken back in time. Gonna get back in time. Fucking love Back to the Future. I can't help it. Even when people mention like time travel or time, I always think of Back to the
or
Future.
self-tying shoelaces.
Or power laces, or self-drying jackets, hoverboards.
Hoverboards. Yeah.
Which... Do you have a favourite of the Back to the Future films? I
Do you
guess
know,
it's going
I
to be Back
can't-
to the Future Part 2, because that's
I
all you're
can't
fucking
remember.
talking about. You can't remember. You don't remember Back to the Future.
I've sort of mashed them all up. I've done a memory mash-up.
Because the first one, he goes back
Do you
to...
like my Eminem comment there?
You did it. Say that again. I didn't
memory
hear
mash-up.
it. A memory mashup.
Yeah.
That's an
and
MM. Double M's.
Yeah.
Love the double M's. Eminem moment. Because I used to have a friend called Mike. I can't remember his last name now, off the top of my head. But we used to have... We were called Eminem. We would have the Eminem moments. Because we'd hang around all the time. He was like some kind of weird Buddhist monk, man. He was really into meditation and hallucinogenic drugs and things. Listening to the Beatles and all that stuff on like vinyl. He's a big fucking... He loved vinyl records. He was a really cool guy, man. I loved him. I don't know where he is now. Separated we were. Sad times. I ended up actually getting arrested. And I had to leave the area. I wasn't comfortable living in that area anymore.
Because you were arrested?
I'd been arrested for something, yeah.
Oh.
And I had to move out of the house. I just wanted to move. I wanted a fresh start. Because I have like periods of my life, and for some reason or another, sometimes of my own volition, it just turns to shit. Everything just turns to shit and it all falls apart. It's always happened. In this period of my life, it hasn't really happened yet. So I always get a little bit anxious about that, though. There's always a voice at the back of my head that goes, this isn't going to
You should
last.
anticipate this.
I should anticipate this, and I should have a backup plan. What am I going to do?
Something similar, like being in a relationship, and almost.
But at least you're pretty stable. You've got your own place. I haven't got my own place.
right.
I have a place. I have a shared place. So
I can see how that makes a difference, but I can relate to the feeling of like this can't be this good, or this goodness has to end.
at some point in the future, I can't help but feel there's a little voice that says this isn't going to last. This isn't going to be this way forever. I want it to be this way forever, and I would love it to be this way forever. But I think eternally I'm a bit of a pessimist, really.
Do you feel loved?
I do feel loved.
That's important.
I feel loved by by my partner, and I feel loved by my friends. And I don't really think they are fully aware of how much I appreciate my friends.
Did you feel, like, thinking back, because some of your past sounds a bit dark.
Yeah.
So kind of out there as well, like you were.
Some of it's a little bit out there. It's mostly been quite alone.
Where you weren't feeling as loved then, or?
No, not at all. I felt ignored. I was being homeless. You're just invisible. People don't notice you. And I was in a place where the only people who I knew was like a small handful of alcoholics and a small handful of heroin addicts.
So was there some lovingness that helped you make a transformation in the way you were living, or?
No, not then. It is now. Without my girlfriend, I wouldn't be where I am now at all. I would still be in the same position. I would still be living the same cycles. She saved me. She really did.
Oh.
I've said that before in this, but I'm going to say it again, because she really did save me. Because I think I am a self-destructive person. I do. I don't understand. I certainly can have like an obsessive like compulsion to do things sometimes.
I can relate to like having been self-destructive and knowing that you could go there again. Like, it's always an option if you've had it before. So yeah, I'm kind of envious of people that haven't got that darkness, but also I think it stimulates a lot of creativity for me.
Absolutely. You can only grow from that, really. I like to think from that shit. Without that shit, I wouldn't be the person that I am now. So, from all those mistakes that I made, I've also learned from them. And although I did repeat the same mistakes quite a few times, I haven't repeated them for a while now. How are you doing with your Icy Lemon Fanta? Have you still got some of that left, or?
Yes, I have. It's good.
Wow.
I'm being quite well looked after here. You
looked after me.
Drink.
You took me out and you bought me pizza, and that was amazing. I love that. I will love you forever now because you bought me food. I love anybody that gives me food.
Well,
I already love you for that because
we're going to copulate later, I think.
Discussion we had. We're going to get deep and dirty, I think. Do you like shower sex?
Shower sex, yes. I quite like.
That's a personal question.
Spontaneous sort of in different environments. I might be up for more of that.
Is it the spontaneity bit though that gets you?
No, I think.
Or is it the environment?
There's some environments that I imagine quite a percentage of people would think were inappropriate locations, and they would work for me.
Yeah. Toilets, like public toilets.
Sorry, I'm not sure what
we're talking
about right
King.
now.
I lost my virginity in a toilets, and they're not public toilets. It was in a McDonald's disabled toilet, so you have more space in a disabled toilet.
Losing virginity. If you're gay, how do you lose your virginity?
You put your penis in somebody.
So if you've had someone's cock up inside you.
Oh well, that's an anal virginity.
Right. So.
See, but because there are people out there that have put their penis in a vagina, and so, or an anus or whatever.
A gay virgin.
But their anal virginity, they're still.
So are there three types of virginity then, like for a man?
I guess, yeah. And like oral virginity as well as stuff.
They're stretching it a bit though, isn't it? So to speak. I
don't know. It's a defining moment when you take a cock in your mouth, I think. That's a pretty good note to end on there. This actually might the name might change of this episode now. The defining moment of having a cock in your mouth. That's a long title. I think I'm just going to still call it a different now. It might be profanity having.
Are we wrapping up now?
I don't know. Maybe we've reached the hour mark.
Okay,
which is pretty good. It's also getting nearer to time when people. Well, no, people aren't going to be coming home till later. Everybody's sorry, I bumped your knee. We'll be knocking more than that later.
Cock in the mouth.
Cock in mouth. Wouldn't that be a crazy, like, disease, like cock in mouth disease? Like, you just keep, cocks keep coming out of your mouth. Or the only cure is to suck a dick.
I think that's quite an interesting...
like, it's a really fucking terrible disease. It's really debilitating. And the only way that you can cure it is by sucking on a cock.
There's some quite...
Does it have to be a cock?
Different styles of cock sucking. Like, you know,
there are
some more passive and wanting a bit more assertion, and some more tentative.
I like a good firm grip.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's all game, really.
When you
I
say
don't care.
good firm grip, is that your grip around their head or their grip around your balls? You know, there's a lot of options.
Wow, like, I'm really into the idea of face fucking. Like, I want to, like, boom. Like, it's that primal, like, flick thing, but I can't do that. If you were
upside down, like, in a 69 position, then there's more chance that you could get the whole thing down their throat as well and cause a bit of gag and feel...
Not with the size of my penis. Boom! There you go. I mean, I don't know if I should say this.
You have to tilt the head back when you're doing... respiration.
Yeah. So it opens up the airwaves, but it's still...
You do a bit...
It still hasn't gone all the way down.
Right.
It hasn't. There's nobody yet that I've met that's been able to take it all. Like, I'm talking like balls on chin. This isn't really something I should be talking about.
But like, I'm talking about balls on nose.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that way around.
Those balls under the upper jaw, like.
Wow. Yeah. It'd be like the what is it? Is it the Gemini, like, star sign logo where it's like the 69 thing, or is that Cancerian?
That's Cancer.
That's my star sign, Cancerian. But yeah, that's like that 69 thing. I always get really, like, aroused by looking at that, and that's my star sign, so I get to see it quite a lot. It's an arousing star sign. I think Cancerians are inherently sexual. I think humans are inherently sexual. I think by default. I think, you know, there are some...
Well, this what's got us here.
Yeah, it is. This has been a very sexy podcast. It has. I'm excited by that. Titillated. Do you feel like this should be wound down?
I wonder what my contribution, like...
What, to this podcast?
Well, no, the sort of sexiness, because I go to a class and we go to the pub afterwards on a Friday night, and quite often the comment is there about, or the thoughts there for me about having got all sexual and giggly and laughing, and I'm there again, and it's like, what?
It's kind of like giggly flirtiness, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. I think it's cheeky banter. That's the way I like to look at it, and that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
But I like to think about opposites, and like, if you do something, it's instead of something else. So like, what would be the alternative? Another way of being. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like a different now.
A different now. I think about, like, how, you know, what if I changed elements of my past? What would be the end result? Would I still be, you know, would I still be here? But I don't know. I don't think so. I find that their subjects are just too big for me to think about, and it hurts my brain.
I think life is about living with those unanswered questions and being able to hold the not knowing, but know that the question still remains.
Yeah. And you have to be comfortable with the fact that you are never going to get to the bottom of it either. Because life is way too complicated to comprehend. Way too complicated. And I don't even really understand how we physically evolved. How all of this shit was just put together and it works. Just the even concept of the human eye, it just baffles me. I have no idea. And it's amazing. But statistically, there has to be something else out there. If we exist, there has to be something else. Statistically.
Other forms of life?
Some other form of life somewhere else. Not necessarily on another planet. There's plenty of forms of life here. There's going to be
dimensions,
astral dimensions. Yeah, there's going to be
times beyond now.
Exactly. There's different phases of this reality. There certainly is. Fucking animals see it. And I reckon when you take hallucinogenic drugs, or when you get to a certain level, you can fucking see it too. There are certain, like, physical, like, forms or shapes that people see, and they sometimes, you know, they're like a co-current theme that runs through different people's experiences of the same thing, which is pretty cool. So, you know, that exists. I mean, what was it? The guy who, like, made the DNA, like, he was the guy who, like, thought, like, that construct of the DNA swirls and stuff. Like, he admitted to taking hallucinogenic drugs, and it's quite possible that he could have thought of that on hallucinogenic drugs. It certainly gave me, like, repeating patterns within patterns, and, you know what I mean, things just spiral out of control. It's very possible.
DNA, chaos, like fractals. I don't. Like, it sounds like you're talking about fractals.
Wow, that's an old concept. I used to have this thing on my computer that would just make fractal images. They were crazy things, crazy mad, like all the, like, different swirly patterns and stuff. Like hippie tie dye.
I want to go back to, like, the unanswered questions thing.
Okay.
We are part of this thing that we're trying to identify, and you just can't be it and look at it like that at the same time. So
no,
you can't answer that question. You can't say that this is it because you're part of the this that you're trying to it.
That's right. I think you're too close to it to begin to see. You have to take a step back. Are we just like cogs in the machine? Just
But if you're taking a step back, then you're not making yourself available to the information that you need to.
No, that's true. Oh, this is a very deep and metaphysical podcast. It's sexy and philosophical all at the same time. I think that describes you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that. Sexy and philosophical.
Yeah. Well, I should start selling t-shirts. That's the first t-shirt.
I think you should come up with everyone's strapline for them, like at the end of each podcast.
I'm sexy and philosophical. Nice.
Thanks.
I think that's good. Thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate
Absolute pleasure.
that you've taken the time out to do this with me. Thank
Well,
you
it's
very
quite
much.
fortuitous, you know.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to mention at the end of it? Anything that you wanted to promote if you wanted to do anything? Now's probably the chance.
Well, we talked about
You don't have
tampons
to.
earlier.
We
I
did
think.
talk about tampons.
Was that during the podcast or in
I think that might have been
I think we have to do the
BP.
game.
before podcast. Oh
Yeah,
shit, the game.
yeah.
The noun game. You said there was a noun
So
game.
the noun game, you
We got time.
there's two of you, or there's two or more.
Two or
people.
more, yeah. It's not a
And,
solo game.
The
Well, you
first
can
person-
play it, but you're just talking.
The first person talks about whatever the hell they like, but finishes about a sentence worth in, or a sentence and a half, where the next, I think it's a noun.
It's
or
just
there's
a thing,
something.
Or, yeah.
You'll get the idea in a second because we're going to have a quick.
Or
go at
it
this.
could be a concept. It could be an emotion. It could be like an actual physical object. It could be anything.
So the next person picks it up and fills that in and takes it to a new level, and it evolves, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
So-
it's kind of like, you know, when you have a bit of paper and you write one line of the story and then you fold the paper over and then you give it to someone else and they write the next line of the story and then you fold it over and so on and then you open it up and read out the story. It's kind of
when
like
you
that
draw
game.
the head and the body. And
Yeah,
the
yeah,
legs.
like that.
So
It's
here we
like
go.
that game, but just verbal based.
So I will start.
Do you wanna start?
by talking about the beginning of time and how it actually began was when this butterfly that had once been found in a
Small hole in just outside of Margate, and it flapped its little wings one morning, drank a little bit of nectar, but the flap of his wings reverberated around the world, and it was felt in every major city. And then
no one's really sure what happened because everything turned.
a slight shade of orange, and everyone was happy because people like orange, and people also like.
Oh dear, semen. Especially when it's on their
chin, dribbling, forming arcs, and landing upon.
Flip-flops that have been worn over 5 summers on trips to
Margate, where I used to spend my time in the summer as a young boy, where I'd ride bicycles and
donkeys. Wearing hats that were the same shape as a
phallus. Which, coincidentally enough, is also the same size as my
vagina. Especially when I've been eating
jalapenos, which I like to eat whilst...
oh, touching my eyes.
Oh, wow.
I'm thinking about...
Abby Titmus. Whilst enjoying a game of...
What's this game called?
It's your fucking game, motherfucker. The noun game.
I think we should call it It's Your Fucking Game.
It's your fucking game, motherfucker.
So,
okay, we're going to play a game, and it's called It's Your Game, motherfucker. Oh, I think that ended there. I think you broke it.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
Am I the winner?
No, there isn't a winner. It's a co-creative, spiritual...
Man, I was... so I was thought I was going to get, like, a trophy or something.
No. I think...
Never mind. That's a good game. I like that. It's funny.
In advance of the game, you can sort of say there's a limit to how many nouns or sentences you can say.
Yeah, because when I'm talking, I forget that I've got to win. And I've got to leave it open.
You added a new dynamic to the game that I hadn't thought of. You know, you really you spoke a lot longer, and that contrasted with the shorter entries.
Yeah.
You know,
sorry for that. I forgot what I was doing.
Well, you're saying sorry, but when I was at school, we had this. I was in an art class, and everybody had to write their signature on a separate bit of paper.
Okay.
And then we had to write our signature bigger, like lots and lots of times over the bit of paper. And we all had to do the same exercise with like drawing lines and all sorts of stuff. And by the end of it, we had about 5 sheets of paper each, and we'd put them all up on the wall. And looking at the variety of everybody's contributions, when nobody realised that what they were doing was any different to anybody else's, was quite like, every expression is unique, and we've all got our own style, whether we like it or not.
That's
and
crazy.
I really like that.
Yeah. We are all unique. That's a word I have trouble with. Unique.
So I'm not accepting your apology for your longer entries.
Cool.
Then.
That's fine.
Fine.
You know the name game where you have like something, you know, a name on your forehead, and you have to try and guess what it is by asking yes or no questions. I'm terrible at that game. I'm pretty good at guessing what's on my forehead, but when I'm answering questions that people ask about themselves, I'm way too explicit with my fucking answers. And I'm really terrible. I pretty much tell you who is on your forehead by just giving you so many clues. That's the way I play, baby.
Right, I'm going to go next door. Thanks very much.
Next door. Awesome. Thank you. Once again, thank you very much
pleasure.
for your time.
Like, astral hugs to everyone that's listening, and hopefully we can... re-identify one another's presence in another time and space.
Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, peace and love to all. Bye.